It's Corey Kluber's last start of the season, and this has become must-see TV. Since coming off the disabled list on June 1st, the Indians right-hander has gone 15-2 in 22 starts with a 1.62 ERA. The Tribe Ace is chasing his second Cy Young Award and will try to become the first 19-game winner in the big leagues. Next on Sports Time Ohio. As summer quickly fades to fall, the Cleveland Indians gear up for postseason baseball. Tonight it's game 161 as the Indians continue their roll against the Chicago White Sox. Tribe has won 32 of their last 35, and it's all set now in the American League. The Tribe will play the wild card winner between the Yankees and the Twins. That game will be Tuesday night. Indians will open up at home next Thursday and Friday right here at Progressive Field. If they advance, they play the winner of the Red Sox Astros series. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. So that's all set. So what do we have to look forward to? Well, the Indians are still trying to get some guys healthy. And good news, Michael Brantley has been activated from the DL. He's not in the lineup, but Rick, he is available tonight.
Well, you know, they activate him. They have 2 games left. Can Michael get an at-bat or 2 before this season ends? We don't know that yet, but he's been working hard to try and get back. Tito would love to have him on the roster in the postseason if he can go through his drills and pass the test. There's still some time because they don't have to have their roster set till Wednesday. Right. So we shall wait and see.
In the meantime, Corey Kluber is on the hill for the Indians tonight, gunning for another Cy Young Award, and he has put together a solid resume. I don't think the outcome of tonight's game will matter one way or the other.
Well, you certainly hope not, because he has been as consistent as any pitcher in the major league. He's been dominant, not just consistent. The only difference between him this year and in his Cy Young year, he hasn't pitched as many innings, and that's because he missed a month on the disabled list. But Kluber, his slider, he's up over 250 strikeouts. He's looking for his 19th win this year. And let's look at the numbers. You can see the difference. It's better with everything this year except the innings pitched. 5 complete games, 3 shutouts, the opposition hitting under 200. He has been that dominant, and I agree with you. He is going to be the Cy Young Award winner.
All right, we'll be back with tonight's first pitch between the Indians and the White Sox. Plus, Alan Jensen have today's showstopper. They'll show the Boston Red Sox clinching the American League East with a win over the Astros at home today. And Andre Knott will tell us why Corey Kluber's teammates think he should win the AL Cy Young Award. Cleveland Indians baseball is brought to you by W.B. Mason, the official office supplier of the Cleveland Indians. By McDonald's, I'm loving it. By your local Toyota dealers. Visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And by Nature Stone, the only concrete solution.
Show of the season, and final time Corey Kluber will start a regular season game for the Tribe as he tries to continue to build that Cy Young Award resume. Welcome back to center field along with Jensen Lewis. I'm Al Pulowski. Let's take a look at our showstopper for today, and that is the Boston Red Sox doing the Tribe a little bit of a favor by topping the Houston Astros. Thanks to that, the Indians now have clinched the top seed in the American League throughout the playoffs.
It's kind of crazy to think, but the Red Sox winning back-to-back titles today, it's the first time that they have won back-to-back ALE since divisions realigned in 1998. You would think with how much power goes through that division, they would have it, but hey, they're back in the playoffs. That's going to be a great series with the Red Sox and the Astros.
That was quite a stat, and with the guy on the hill tonight, Corey Kluber, we have a lot more great stats as well to come as the night goes on. Let's send it upstairs now to the men calling it, Matt Underwood and Rick Manning. Fellas.
Boy, I tell you one thing, the Astros and the Red Sox are going to be just about sick of each other by the time their playoff series is over.
No doubt.
Here tonight, a cool evening as we get ready for baseball. Indians and the White Sox. Tribe just a machine right now, winning 32 of their last 35. As we mentioned, as the guys have talked about on Indians Live, everything's wrapped up or everything's set, but the Indians are still pushing forward. Corey Kluber going for his 19th win of the year. Indians going for their 102nd victory on the season. Corey Kluber, he's our choice for Cy Young Award. We're a little biased. So are his teammates. But maybe they were a little more objective when they talked to Andre Nutt.
Well, Matt, you used the word I like. You said the Indians have been machine-like with their record. Well, if there's any machine in Cleveland that you want to watch every fifth day, it's Corey Kluber. And with the Cy Young Award basically wrapped up, we think, I went to his Indians teammates to find out why they think he should be the Cy Young Award winner for the second time in his career. And tonight's Hear Right Sounds of the Game.
His routine, the way he does things on a daily basis. He gets to a point in the season whenever his muscle memory kind of takes over and his body takes over and the things that he works on kind of takes over, and he just rolls with it. And I think that's just a credit to the work ethic that he has and the type of routines that he's developed over the course of the years and how he goes about his business. He's a true professional every sense of the word.
Since he's come back, he's pitched at an unbelievably high level. I mean, his level of consistency is unbelievable, and it's at, like I said, it's at such a high level. You know, we see him every 5 days.
You know, he's been unbelievable for us this year. And in fact, I mean, he was really good last year, and you could look at his numbers from 2015, the year after he won it, and he had some pretty good numbers that year. We just didn't score a lot of runs for him. So, you know, consistently, he's been one of the better, if not the best pitcher in baseball in the last 5 years.
Consistency is the one word that people keep coming back to with Corey Kluber, and there is something to be said about consistency in the game of Major League Baseball.
And as a starting pitcher, consistency, reliability, that's everything in Corey Kluber. And at the high level that he performs at, he is truly he's shown me a streak from when he's come off the disabled. It's like Tito talked about, June 1st on. I haven't seen a starting pitcher be as consistent as he has. It's been a pleasure to watch him play every single day, and he will be our Northern Ohio starting pitcher for this evening. He's going to look for win number 19. He has beaten the White Sox 3 times this year. This will be his 5th start. He's 3-0 against them, 9-4 in his career. And in his last start against Seattle, he struck out 10. That was the 15th time he's done that this year, so he just keeps right on rolling.
And the Chicago White Sox starting lineup under manager Rick Renteria, brought to you by Hankook Tires. Yolmer Sanchez, who homered last night for Chicago, in the leadoff spot. Yohan Moncada will bat second. Jose Abreu, Avisail Garcia, Kevin Smith. Matt Davidson, the DH, moves up to the 6th spot tonight. Tyler Saladino will hit 7th. Reimer Liriano is 8th, and the center fielder Adam Engel batting 9th.
And the defense behind him brought to you by Ram. Chisenhall, Kipnis, and Bruce in the outfield. Urshela, Lindor, Ramirez, Santana on the infield with Gomes catching.
The umpires, Pat Hoberg has the plate. Lance Barrett is at first base. Crew chief Mark Wegner is at second, and Jim Reynolds down at third. Game time temperature tonight, 56 degrees. Light breeze blowing in from center field. Not a cloud in sight. Hard to believe that just 3 days ago it was in the 80s. Corey Kluber's first pitch up and away, ball 1.
The last time Kluber pitched against this White Sox team is the last time he gave up an earned run. Remember, they got him for 2 runs, 2 home runs in the first inning. Sanchez got him on a fastball, and so did Abreu. He hasn't given up an earned run since that start, and that came back in September on the 7th. And that's after the Indians put, was it 3 or 4 on the board in the first inning.
Swung on and missed. Breaking ball downstairs. Sanchez swinging right over the top of it. And the 1-2. Slapped out of play. Slow chopper towards second base. Ramirez will throw him out 1 away. Tonight's storylines are brought to you by Wayside Furniture. Corey Kluber has authored 15 games this year of 10 or more strikeouts. And Jason Kipnis is starting to round his way into shape. Back in center field again tonight. Last 7 games finding the stroke offensively. And that'll be, I think, a big key for him going into postseason play. Yohan Moncada. He takes a first pitch strike from Kluber. Ground ball once again. It's Jose Ramirez. And now there are 2 down. So Corey Kluber has had 15 games this year in which he struck out 10 or more batters. He has had 2 separate streaks of 5 consecutive games with 10 or more strikeouts. So 10 of the 15 have come in these huge binges where he's just gone on a roll. The first streak started June 14th, carried through July the 4th, and then the second streak started right after that on July the 15th and ran through August 8th. The interesting thing, the only thing that broke up that streak was a 5-inning game against Detroit in which he struck out 8 batters. Swung on and missed.
Well, and that one, they really had his pitch count up there. You know, in 5 innings, he threw 100 pitches, 101 to be exact. And they worked him and fouled him off, and that's, you know, the best I've seen a team work Kluber all year.
Now the 0-2 pitch. Fouled it off. And that was a game in which Kluber did not figure in the decision. The Indians ultimately lost that game 5-3. We know the key there is for the Indians to score him 4 or more. They fell short that night. He left the game tied 1-1 after 5 innings. He's got Jose Abreu down 0-2 here. And a line drive toward left center field. That's in the gap. One hops the wall. And Abreu into second base with a 2-out double.
Yeah, it looked like he tried to get the heater by him, and Abreu was ready for it. He caught it and lined it into left center field. They wanted it up, and that ball was about belt high. You see where Gomes put the glove earlier, and he left it down about the belt. He took advantage of it. So he gets a 2-out double, and for Abreu, that's his 43rd double of the year. Another good year for him. It's going to bring up Avisail Garcia, who is 1 for 4
in the series. That came last night. He's second in the American League in batting average to Jose Altuve.
Yes, Garcia has had a really consistent year for him. Worked very hard in the offseason. We talked about earlier in the year. Lost some weight. Hitting .330 now with 18 homers and 80 ribbies.
Garcia, as you see there, is hit in 7 straight. Abreu and Garcia have certainly been the bright spots for the White Sox this year offensively. That might have crossed up Gomes. That goes to the backstop.
Yeah, he was waiting for it. Was definitely a cross up. The way Gomes went after that ball, I know Kluber's got a lot of movement on his pitches, but you just watch. He's sitting down and away, and he's looking. He's waiting for that ball to go down. He was waiting for a breaking ball, and that was a nice two-seam fastball. It went off the glove, and I don't know if it went deflected off the mask or not.
That's one of those deals where I'm sure it'll be scored a pass ball, but there aren't too many catchers that can catch that pitch if they don't know it's coming. Not when you're expecting.
No, there's nothing he could do. Absolutely nothing.
Duran won the count on Garcia. And a fly ball to center field. Jason Kipnis circles under it. And the side is retired. The Indians are coming to bat.
And Fulmer's turn to go out and toe the rubber. He will be the Northern Ohio Hyundai starting pitcher, and the 23-year-older is ready to make his 5th start. He has made a couple appearances out of the bullpen. One came against Cleveland where he went 2 2/3, gave up a hit. That coming back on September 5th.
The Indians starting lineup for Tito brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Frankie Lindor leading it off. Jason Kipnis bats second. Jose Ramirez is third. Edwin Encarnacion batting cleanup. Jay Bruce, who homered last night, will hit 5th. Then it's Carlos Santana, followed by Lonnie Chisenhall, Yan Gomes, and Giovanni Urshela. Lakeland, Florida's Carson Fulmer. This first pitch is a high fastball, 1-0. Francisco Lindor, hitless last night in 5 trips to the plate. Comes in batting .299 on the year here at Progressive Field.
Fulmer will throw the fastball. Probably half the time he has a cutter as well to go with a curveball. That pitch is almost like a changeup. I don't know. It looked like a split is the way it went down.
Another foul off by Lindor. Since the All-Star break, Frankie has piled up 90 hits, second most in the league. 19 homers, that's 9th best. He's also scored 49 runs, tied for 4th. He has been the Indians' answer to that leadoff spot question. And it took a while before Tito eventually settled on Lindor in that leadoff spot. Settled on Ramirez batting third, and his team has really taken off ever since from an offensive standpoint. And a good pitch.
Yes,
that was a really slow hook over the outside corner. And that's strike 3 for out number 1.
I'll tell you what, he threw about 5 different pitches in that at-bat. That's a good curveball, man, where he just slowed it down on the outside edge. Knuckle curve. You see where he's got the knuckle pushed down in there. And, you know, we saw 2-seamer, 4-seamer, that curveball, the split.
Get Saxy.
They're getting tuned up, aren't they?
Yes,
the
they
postseason.
are. I think they're already tuned up.
Well, I'm saying they're getting the costumes. They got to get their gimmicks ironed out before Thursday.
Here's Jason Kipnis. Takes a fastball, and it's in there for a strike. Kipnis 1 for 2 last night. Double, stolen base, scored a couple of runs. Rips it into right field on a base hit.
Yeah, he's feeling good. He's feeling it up there in the batter's box. He's swinging it very well in the last 7-8 games. Let's check out the White Sox defense for you. Brought to you by WB Mason. It'd be Liriano in left field angle and center, Garcia in right. Sanchez the third baseman. Saladino at short tonight. Moncada at second. Abreu at first. Smith doing the catching.
Jose Ramirez 3 for 3 last night. 2 doubles. 2 runs batted in. 55 doubles on the year. Might have been swinging for the cheap seats there. He has 29 homers this year too. Down on him, he missed. The 54 doubles for Jose, or excuse me, the 55 doubles for Jose Ramirez are the 3rd most ever in a single season for the Indians. Only Tris Speaker, who had 59 in 1923, and George Burns, who had 64 in 1926, have had more in a single season. Down the line, slicing out of play, foul.
Well, that's 55 doubles. That's like 2 years of work into one. Checking that bat out, hit it a little bit off the end.
In the air, right field. Garcia will make the catch, and there are 2 down. Here's the other thing to think about too, Arch, and that is Tris Speaker, when he had the 59 doubles in 1923, he led the team that year in home runs with 17. Which, hey, in 1923, that was a lot of home runs.
Yes, it was back in that day. You're absolutely right.
But Ramirez, one shy of hitting 30 homers, 55 doubles potentially before it's all said and done. Edwin Encarnacion to the plate now. He is 38 homers this year, 107 driven in. Pops this one back out of play. And more importantly, what you have seen from Edwin, let's say in the last week, is a guy who's starting to use the whole field.
Boy, he's locked in. He's hitting the ball where it's pitched. He's staying on pitches. He's hit a lot of good 2-strike base hits with guys on base to right field, staying on it with 2 strikes where he used to pull off of it. He's had a great month of September.
Line down the left field line. It's foul. Just hooked wide of the chalk. And the count will be 0-2.
Well, there's one there now. That one, he's staying away. He let that ball get deep into the zone, and that might have been the first home run he hit that way. And then look at that, was a really good pitch. He went down and away, and see him stay on it and keep that bat through the hitting area for quite a long time. And that's with runners in scoring position. So he's starting to drive them in with base hits, not just home runs.
He's in the hole here, 0-2 with Kipnis at first base. And now time is called, and Kevin Smith will go out for a chat.
Well, as we said, Fulmer, just a 23-year-old right-hander. You know, he made 25 starts down in AAA. He was a #1 draft pick for him, the 8th overall back in 2015 out of Vanderbilt. So he's one of their highly ranked minor leaguers.
The 0-2 pulls it foul. You notice there the White Sox, they're not the only team. We've seen this with the Tigers also, but with nobody at second base, the catcher's still going through secondary signs. Normally you only see that when a team gets a runner to second base. The teams are more and more paranoid about
sign stealing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Check them for watches.
Here's the 0-2.
Do we have any guys wearing them?
Got in on him, popped him up. Shallow center, out goes Moncada. And the second baseman makes the catch to end the inning. No runs ahead, a man left. After 1, no score in Cleveland.
2017 is out now for Xbox One, PS4, iOS, and Android. Enjoy fast-paced MLB action packed with all your favorite MLB teams, players, ballparks, and more. Your breakout MLB season is here. Come ready to play and learn more at RBI.game.
Kevin Smith will lead off for Chicago here in the second inning. Popped him up. Right side of the infield. Santana calls for it. One away. Stat of the game brought to you by Buick. So this Indians pitching staff ranks #1 in all of baseball in ERAs, strikeouts, shutouts, complete games, allowed the fewest homers. They have been flat out dominating. And when you talk about the Indians win streak, and when history eventually gets around to looking back on that 22-game win streak,
oh boy,
the pitching is going to be what will stand out the most, because they just never let teams have an opportunity.
Starters had 19 wins in that streak.
I mean, I know you have to score, and I'm giving credit to the offense as well, but I think the headline grabber will be how dominant, how efficient the pitching was.
Never seen a team consistently go out and pitch the baseball as well as they did through that streak. I mean, come on, they never gave up more than 3 runs. It didn't. I think one time they gave up 4. It's rare. We went, I forget how long before we gave up more than 4 runs in any start.
Nice pick by Gomes. 2 balls and a strike. They count on Matt Davidson, the DH for Chicago. 26 home runs, 16 doubles on the year. Checked on a ball that was just a bit off.
Well, it looks to me like Kluber's breaking stuff seems to be a little bit harder tonight than it is normally, as far as the radar gun goes.
Oh, that's a comebacker, and it's in there for a strike, full count. That two-seamer starts off the plate, works its way back over the outside edge, and a right-handed hitter just gives up on it because you see it out of the hand. It's a ball. It's a ball halfway there, and then it's in the catcher's glove, a strike. Cut one off the outside edge. Davidson got a piece of it. And the 3-2. Ground ball right up the gut. That's going to get through. Davidson has the White Sox second hit of the night. And a one-out single here in the second.
Well, you battle Kluber and you take a couple, you foul a pitch off, and you get a base hit. That was a good at-bat by the rookie Davidson to get a base knock going right back up the middle. There's that fastball coming back again. This one stayed on that plate. He was ready for it and gets a base hit. Second hit of the ball game for the White Sox.
Tyler Saladino. We're used to him sporting that signature mustache. But it looks like maybe recently he has shaved it off. Smash to Lindor. He'll go to Ramirez, on to Santana, an inning-ending double play. Kluber gets a 2 for 1 ball. We go to the bottom of the second. No score. Last night, Jay Bruce, 36th home run of the year. And he's now sitting on 99 runs batted in. And he'll lead off the home half of the second inning. Smash towards second, but with that shift on, Moncada able to take a hit away from him.
Smoked it.
Time for a game break. We shoot it over to Jensen Lewis now.
Thank you very much, boys. The final piece of the postseason is set. That is thanks in part to a 3-run 8th inning as the St. Louis Cardinals come back to defeat the Milwaukee Brewers. That means the Colorado Rockies are back in the postseason with the second wild card, first time since 2009. Back over to you, gentlemen.
All right, thanks, Jensen. I mean, Arch, tears in Brew City. They came close. A team that came out of nowhere. Nobody saw them competing and contending this year.
To stay into that race till the second to last day of the year, yes, they can build from that. That's for sure. But now it's all said and done.
We'll make a visit to Milwaukee next year.
Yes, we will.
Here's Carlos Santana, 0 for 4 last night. Santana 4th all time on the Indians walks list. I mean, isn't it amazing when you look at that list, Arch? You think Carlos Santana, I mean, he's always there at the top of the leaderboard at year in, year out in walks. And Jim Thome's got over 1,000.
Well, if Carlos Santana comes back here and signs a deal with the Indians, he may have a chance.
Yep.
I mean, think about it. If he signs a 3-4 year deal, he gets almost 100 a year, 100 walks every year.
Smith said, I want the breaking ball, want it down. He made sure that Fulmer.
It's funny that you brought up him possibly signing back, Arch. Today in pregame, talking to Tito, He talked about how proud he is of Carlos Santana and what he does defensively and how much better he's become at first. He says he knows Chris and Carlos have talked a couple times throughout the year, and it hasn't been the right thing, but he let Carlos know that he wants him here if they can have him here, and Carlos loved hearing that.
You know what? I would too. He's earned that right, boy. He's played very well. He just continues to go out there and he plays.
Well, the one thing Tito said is when they used to play him at first base when he first came over here, it would be on his off day, and it would drive him crazy how he played first base. And he says if you looked at him how he played first base when Tito first got here and how he plays today, he says that's how you know he's a good kid that works hard and takes care of his business.
Yeah, he does just that. And 2 pitches ago, he fouled off a heck of a pitch to just stay alive. This one's going to be just a little bit off the dish, and he knows the strike zone. He's not going to bite at that little cutter. That was a backdoor cutter. Kid thought he had it. They call it maybe in AAA, but not here.
Santana with a bouncer. Nice play there. Yolmer Sanchez able to cut it off and throw him out, and there are 2 down. Lonnie Chisenhall remains to be seen how Tito will use him in the postseason. 1-0 pitch. Lonnie, I mean, you look at his numbers. He did well in the wild card game in 13. Swung the bat, had some clutch hits last year in the postseason. So he's no stranger to stepping on to the big stage and performing. But with all the time he's missed, again, it's a matter of where does he fit and where does he fit best.
Well, that's a tough call because he missed so much time this year. What was he on the DL 3 different times this year?
Swing and a miss. It's 1-2. Well, and the calf injury is the one that really just
well, and then he aggravated
it
after he came back. But didn't he start the year out with something in his neck or shoulder from running
sprain,
into the wall? Yeah.
Concussion DL. Right calf strain.
Right. 3 different times.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 down, bases empty here in the 2nd inning. And Carson Palmer delivers down low. And a ground ball ends the inning. Drive goes 1, 2, 3. And after 2 innings, no score in Cleveland.
app to securely manage your tickets and skip lines by gaining access to our mobile-only gates. Plus, you can unlock special offers from our partner KeyBank and more. Visit Indians.com for more info.
No score, third inning, and Reimer Liriano will lead off for Chicago. He'll be followed by Adam Engel and Yolmer Sanchez as Corey Kluber goes to work. He's given up a hit in each of the first 2 innings. Mentioned before that the White Sox certainly have to feel good about Jose Abreu and Avi Garcia in the middle of their lineup. I'm sure they believe internally that Yohan Moncada will be a big part of their future as well. Young, talented second baseman.
Well, Sanchez is developing into a good player.
But offensively, as that ball is grounded to short, and Liriano had his bat busted in the process. That's where I think the White Sox, surprisingly, maybe need some help, because this is a team that has struggled to score runs, especially lately. They've, last 12 games, they've scored 3 runs or less 7 times in those 12 games. And I realize you have a lot of young players in there, and some guys maybe kind of looking with one eye already towards the off season. But that's not normally, at least in recent memory, where the White Sox are looking to get better in the offseason.
They're rebuilding. You know, they got rid of some good players, some pitching, a lot of pitching they got rid of. So they're looking at the young pitchers, some of the young players that are in the lineup now. They have to get a feel on what they can do and what they cannot do. And this is they finally pulled the trigger, and they says we have to rebuild, and they're doing it.
You're right. For the last several years, it's almost as though they had one foot out the door.
Yeah,
they weren't quite committed to rebuild.
They didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
They didn't want to get rid of the good pitchers. You end up trading Chris Sale, and then you get rid of
David Robertson. And
yes, then they started with the bullpen. I'm talking about the starters and the guy in center field that played with them last year. And gosh,
Adam Eaton.
Eaton. And then Q, the pitcher, went over to the Cubs.
Melky Cabrera traded to Kansas City.
Yeah, so they really got rid of all their veterans. They had some guys in there that could score, but they've got they're banking on the scouting system, and that a lot of the young prospects that they received in their trades that will be available or playing are going to be good big league players. Rick Renteria right here. He's taken over as the manager.
Well, and look,
patience. It's going to take a little patience is what it's going to take.
We know there will be one new face in the Central Division next year in Detroit. Swing and a miss. Kluber has his first strikeout tonight here in the 3rd inning. We know Brad Ausmus will not be back as the Tigers manager.
There's the good curveball.
Obviously, you've got Paul Molitor and Terry Francona vying for Manager of the Year honors. Ned Yost has a year on his contract.
Yeah,
he's going to honor that. He wants to be back next year.
So everything will remain the same except Detroit. And Detroit is probably the team that's fallen the most in the Central Division,
especially record-wise. They're 3 games back of where the White Sox are. Detroit 63-97.
But you think about it, Minnesota lost 100 games last year, and guess what? They're in the playoffs. They're playing Tuesday night, so anything can happen.
What the Minnesota Twins have done unwittingly is they have helped every team that's had a bad year for years to come to go to their fans in the offseason and say, look at what the Twins did. We can maybe do that.
Yes, if you have some good young talent, you add in a few veterans, you certainly can.
Bonnie Chisenhall will make the catch in left field. And the White Sox go 1-2-3 on 10 pitches. No score, middle of the 3rd. Enjoying a cold one, to stay tuned later in the game for Miller Time, brought to you by Miller Lite. And here in the bottom of the third, it'll be Yan Gomes, Giovanni Urshela, and Francisco Lindor. Ground ball in the hole. Cut off by Moncada. His throw not in time. Yan Gomes has an infield single to start the third.
Yeah, he really couldn't get rid of the ball. It was almost like a shot put, as he had so far to run to get it, and he couldn't stop, couldn't spin, had to get rid of it. He throws a shot put over there, couldn't get anything on it. It'll be an infield single for Gomes.
We mentioned it last night. Gomes and Perez, the way both of them have played, in particular with the bat, they have pushed each other, especially over the last month. Giovanni Urshela.
Matt, you mentioned the catcher situation, and I'm talking to Tito before the game. Last two starts for Kluber, you know that Roberto Perez caught him. He went back to Gomes tonight because he doesn't want to be put in a pigeonhole in the playoffs. He wants both of those guys to be able to catch whomever. Basically, he's going to let the hot bat work its way through. He says the only guy that's really only had one catcher all year is Bauer. He'll continue that with Roberto, but he's going to go with the hot hand in the playoffs with the catching position.
All right, thanks, Andre.
Makes sense. Of course, last year Roberto caught all the playoff games because of Gomes' injury.
Fouled back by Urshela.
I want to send along special happy birthday wishes to Chase Pulowski, turning 7 today. Big Chase, Al's son. They're here at the ball game. They're in a suite paying attention. Chase, tell Daddy he can come up now. He brought a big present up in here and left it in the Fox booth. So tell him to come get it and give it to him.
Huh?
Yeah. Very nice.
High roller.
Happy birthday, Chase.
Ground ball on one hop to short. Saladino, they get the force at second on to first.
It's too bad because they started the runner anyway, and he hit it right at him. So that's one reason why they were able to turn that double play.
Injury report brought to you by the attorneys at Elk and Elk. Michael Brantley activated from the DL before tonight's ball game, and we'll wait and see if Brantley makes an appearance tonight or perhaps tomorrow. Maybe Andre has some insight for us.
Well, I talked to Terry Francona about 3 minutes before the game started. After he talked to Michael Brantley, after Brantley went through his workout before the game and went through BP, he wanted him to cool down, and then he wanted to talk to him. And the question that he really said to him was, Michael, there's 2 games left. You have a whole career ahead of you. Are we pushing too fast, too quickly? I guess Michael Brantley said no, because when I asked Tito a couple minutes before the game started, I said, are we going to see a swinger and a bat from Michael Brantley tonight? He winked at me and smiled. So I would expect to see him at some point in time tonight.
All right. We'll keep our eyes peeled. Francisco Lindor looks at a ball in the dirt. Checked on a ball that's up high.
Tell you, young Carson Fulmer's changing the eye level with his fastball upstairs and a lot of the off speed, the split, the curveball downstairs. He's getting some ground balls when needed. Some easy outs.
way outside, and Lindor draws a 2-out walk. Second time through the order. We'll see if the Indians fare any better against Carson Fulmer. Only 2 hits first time through. And that's where the Indians over the last month have just shredded their opponents early in games. Get them down early, keep them down, let the pitching staff settle in.
Well, and it's the free passes too that certainly help this ball club. When you start walking guys, of course Mike Pelfrey and the Sox, they walked 8 guys last night, and you give free base runners to a team that's swinging the bats well, you could be in a lot of trouble, and they are.
Ground ball, and the shortstop Saladino will go the long way, and he just does. Nip Kipnis to end the inning. Hey, don't go away. We're going to visit with Steve Karsay when we come back. We're happy to welcome into the booth Steve Karsay, who spent 4 years in the Indians bullpen, part of an 11-year pitching career. Just finished his second season as a AAA pitching coach down in Columbus. A lot of good arms, a lot of exciting arms, some of which we've already seen this year at the big league level. Welcome in. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Was it another fun season for you, watching the guys develop and pass along some of those guys up here to the big league level?
It was fun. You know, at times it was challenging, but you know, that's what makes it as fun as it was. You know, a lot of our young guys got funneled up through our system. Not a lot of experience in innings pitched at the AAA level, besides the usual suspects like Ryan Merritt and you know, Sean Moramondo, Adam Plucko, who had come up here and helped out the club for a little bit. So you know, it was fun. We did a lot of good things and developed a lot of guys to help this ball club win.
And I think that's the most important buzzword: develop. You have to develop those guys so that when they get here, it's more of polishing the rough edges, not overhauling or, you know, revamping a guy. And the first one that comes to mind is Mike Clevenger, because Rick and I said, boy, this guy has made huge strides from one year to the next. What did you see in Mike Clevenger, and what do you think has enabled him to make such a huge quantum leap forward?
For me, I think it's the comfort level. You know, he got a taste of what it was like last year got his feet wet, got some innings here. You know, Tito put him in some situations that were high leverage, and he made some starts here. He went down, he came back to AAA for the beginning of this year, and then when he came here, everything just started to click for him. He started locating better. He was throwing more strikes. He was down in the zone, and a lot of success ensued for him.
Is that something, Steve, you can see in a guy? Can you see it in his eyes, the way they walk, the way they carry themselves once they sort of get it?
Yeah, I mean, again, just pitching at this level and gaining the innings and gaining the experience, you start pitching well, you start gaining confidence. Once you start gaining confidence, you know, things start clicking for you, and you know, you settle in. It's just it's part of the process, as we call it. Whether you're in the bullpen and you start in the 5th and 6th inning and then work your way back, or getting those starts as Mike did at this level and having some success.
He doesn't seem as maxed out. Last year it seemed like everything he was throwing, it was all maximum effort, you know, trying to get to 96 on every pitch. But you mentioned his control's a little better. He's keeping the ball down in the zone. He's not worried about the radar gun that much anymore, is he?
No, he's not. Again, it clicked. He finally learned that location is more important than velocity.
It is.
Keeping the ball down, moving the ball in and out, changing speeds with his secondary stuff, and keeping hitters off balance. And you know, once he was able to harness that intensity level when he's out on the mound in a stadium like this or on the road, he gotten better, and it ultimately worked out for him to the point where he can compete every 5th day and bring the same stuff and the consistency that he needs.
When you're working with a starter and trying to get him going and trying to get him to the big leagues, when you're only on about a 100 pitch count down there maximum?
Yes.
What's your words to them? I mean, what do you tell them to do? You got to throw strikes, don't you?
I guess everybody's a little bit different depending on who that is. But the ultimate message is, you need to learn how to get guys out in the strike zone in AAA, because that's what you're going to have to do at the big league level. In AAA, they'll swing at the marginal pitches, they'll swing at the balls in the dirt or up above the zone. At this level, they don't do it nearly as much. You might get them to do it on occasion, but you'll put yourself behind the 8 ball if you're trying to nibble a little bit too much and fall behind in counts 2-0, 2-1. Guys at this level are very good, and they're going to hurt you if you put them in hitters counts. Yeah,
you go 6 and 7 innings down there, it'll end up being maybe transferred to 5 innings, if maybe less than that up here.
Absolutely, and
with the pitch count.
Yeah, your pitch count gets inflated. You know, you're throwing more high leverage pitches per inning because you got guys on base. You're walking guys. You know, and it's tough. I mean, you look at the guy pitching tonight. I mean,
the best.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He pounds the strike zone. He gets guys swinging, and then he's able to expand the zone because he works ahead.
Folks, we're visiting with Steve Karsay, former Indians pitcher, now a pitching coach at AAA Columbus. Tyler Olson. For us, this guy came out of nowhere, and he has been amazing at how well he's come into, as you call them, high leverage situations, whatever situation Tito's put him in, and he does what you said. He pounds the strike zone. What has enabled him to have the kind of success we've seen this year? What did you see?
Well, he was a different guy this year. You know, we picked him up off of waivers last year. He joined our ball club. Last year he missed a lot of time. You know, he was on, I believe he was on waivers 2 or 3 times last year. When you're on waivers, you have to miss 10 days or 2 weeks, and that happened a few times. So he never really was able to get into a rhythm, get to a comfort level where he was pitching consistently, you know, month to month. He was taking 2 weeks off. He was trying to come back, 2 weeks off, trying to come back. This year, he was a different guy. Came to spring training, you know, got more comfortable, pitched well in spring training, came to AAA, and ultimately, you know, settled in. You know, he's a guy who commands the ball to both sides of the plate. He's able to spin the ball. He's not afraid to throw his breaking ball in any count, whether it's 3-2, 2-0, 2-1, 3-1. He has the utmost confidence in throwing his breaking ball at any time, and that's a big weapon when you're able to do that, especially left on left coming out of the pen in the 7th, 8th, or 9th inning.
Got to be especially satisfying for you and for everybody on the staff at Columbus to watch what's going on up here. You see Andrew Miller go down, Boone Logan goes down. Tribe's in desperate need. They need a left-on-left guy, and you say, hey, we got a guy. And he comes up and pitches as well as he does. It must be satisfying to know, hey, we did our job and we helped the whole organization.
Absolutely. I mean, what we try to do down there is prepare guys for the big leagues when their time is called. You know, when an unfortunate injury happens to like Boone or Andrew goes down, you want to prepare the guy who's next in line to come up and be able to help the team win at this level. And I think that's important. I mean, we worry about development down there, but we always also worry about, you know, preparation and preparing these guys to come up and help the big league club win and obviously win a championship.
And that's what it always starts in spring training. You know, when we're all down there, you get your 40 guys and you end up having 60-some guys down there in spring training. Everybody knows everybody pretty much, and then you split from there. But it's not going to. They go down with a purpose, and they need that purpose if they're going to help the major league club, and that's where you guys come in.
Yeah, that's the biggest challenge is managing the emotions. You know, everybody wants to pitch in the big leagues.
Sure.
You know, obviously the staff that we have here, the starting staff, the bullpen that we have here.
Tough one to crack.
It's a tough one to break into, but if you go down there and you sulk and you're not prepared and you're not ready to come up,
you won't be here.
That's right. When your opportunity comes, you won't take advantage of it. And you know, we just try to keep them on target and ready to go. You know, sharp day in and day out, and then ultimately you get what Tyler has done. He's come up here. He's pitched well. He's taken advantage of the opportunities that he's been put into to pitch, and you know, I'm just proud of the guy.
Steve, how much, when you're working with guys at AAA, how much of your coaching do you rely on your own personal experiences as a pitcher, and how much of your coaching is just experiences having been a coach now for several years?
I think it's a combination of a couple things. I think I draw from my experiences when guys ask me about different situations that they're put into, and then I also draw from the coaching aspect of it, from what I learned from, you know, the guys on the big league staff with Mickey and JB and Atch. We sit around in spring training and we talk about a lot of different things. You know, I absorb that information, and then I try to pass that along, you know, on the mechanical side or some of the things, you know, philosophies that we use. But, you know, it's very important to kind of pull from both.
Slow chopper, Lindor charging, gets rid of it in a hurry and retires Garcia for out number 2. And I think that, for me, that would be one of the challenging things for a pitching coach, whether it's you, whether it's Mickey, JB, is that it's not one size fits all. You've got guys with different arm angles, different stuff, and so you can't just go, well, this is how it's done. You have to work almost an individual program with every guy, don't you?
Absolutely. I think there's some basic philosophies or some basic things that you need to do to get in the right positions to throw the baseball. Everybody does it a little bit different. Everybody gets there a little bit differently, but the execution and the end product needs to be, you know, the same. They need to be able to locate their ball. They need to be able to change speeds, and every guy's a little bit different.
What's your plans for the wintertime? Are you coaching or doing anything out in the instructional league? Or are you going to be down in anywhere? Just
no, after
off-season?
Yeah, after this, I'm just going to go down and spend some time at home, spend some time with the family.
Which you need to.
Yeah, absolutely. Being away for 5 months, it can be a little bit tough, but you know, they're on board and they understand and they love it and they enjoy it and they support me.
Yeah, you don't want to go to Goodyear right now. They might put a tool belt around your waist and send you to work. They're redoing the complex a little bit, I understand.
Yeah, I was out there last week for a motor learning summit that we had. Another aspect of what we do here to expand our knowledge on teaching. And you're right, it is under construction, but it looks really, really good the way it's coming and what it's going to look like when spring training comes.
Corey Kluber looking for his second strikeout of the night. He's allowed just 3 hits so far. Runner in scoring position with 2 down. And the 0-2. Broken bat. Flair. This might drop. Ramirez can't get to it. Around third, and Abreu is going to score the first run of this game as Chicago scores on a 2-out. Broken bat. Flair single to shallow right field. And Steve, nothing has to break a pitcher's heart more than something like that happens there.
Yeah, you know, you can still execute a pitch as much as you do here, and then they can still flare one in and get a hit. I mean, you know, you can't control the outcome what the hitter does. You can just execute what you need to do and let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah, nothing you can do about that. Shattered his bat, but that's the legitimate first earned run he's allowed since his last start September 5th against these White Sox back in Chicago.
Yeah, he's about, for me, he's about as good as they get with following his routine and being spot on with what he does.
Matt Davidson had a base hit his first time up. I think that's the one thing that a lot of his fellow pitchers point to with Corey Kluber, his routine. And Tito has talked about it. He's so specific, and he says his routines are impeccable. You know, what he does in between those starts. And Corey said, I work so hard so that when it's my turn to pitch, that's fun.
I think it's extremely valuable for our young players to, you know, watch what Corey does and how he goes about his business and how he prepares himself every fifth day. I mean, our guys are lucky to be able to watch a guy like this on a daily basis, especially in spring training.
Danny Salazar, it's been an up and down year for him. You spent some time with him trying to get him back on track too, didn't you?
Yeah, he came down to AAA and made a few starts. He was working his way back in, and you know, if he has the stuff he had in his last outing, we're going to be in good shape.
Urshela couldn't get the ball out of his glove in time, and Davidson is going to reach on a ball that was just beaten into the ground. So 2 infield hits in the inning, and the White Sox just keep the inning alive.
Well, like you say, he tops it here. And it had to be a clean play right from the start. Urshela couldn't get it out of the glove. He had a little bit of an issue that enabled Davidson to beat it out. So a couple of back-to-back hits that were good pitches by Kluber.
Is that something that's hard to learn for a pitcher? Maybe it's just being an athlete. You want to be in control of the situation, and the minute the ball leaves your hand as a pitcher, it's hard to just say, okay, well, I'll just leave it in the hands of my defense, because you want the result that you work so hard to achieve. Is it hard to convince guys that, hey, you just have to let that go?
It can be. I mean, I think guys get frustrated because they feel like they make the pitch and they should get an out. You know, as we talked about, obviously that doesn't work out all the time. You can still make a quality pitch in a quality location and give up a little chopper or a little flare, and those things add up. But you just still got to continue to go about your business and keep making the pitches.
You got to accept it and move on. I mean, there's bigger fish to fry, man. You got to get out of that inning and quit. You know, if you can hold them to 1 run, that's fine, right?
You got to limit the damage.
Exactly. Minimize the damage. You don't put crooked numbers up on the board, and you're fine.
Tyler Saladino, no ball, 1 strikeout, 2 down in the inning, fouled off to the right. I remember our old pal Louis Isaac used to say, Steve Kartze, so intense. He's like pacing back and forth in the bullpen. Have you run into somebody that reminds you of yourself along the way and go, oh boy, I've got my hands full here?
Yeah, there are a lot of guys. I mean, it's one of those things. Everybody has a little bit different way to go about preparing and getting ready. You know, it wasn't that I was too antsy. I just wanted to kind of get loose and be prepared and be ready to go when my name was called.
0-2 pitch. Missed down and away. Yeah, you're right. As I said before, it's not one size fits all, and everybody deals with adrenaline differently.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can see that with you know, Mike Clevenger. I mean, he's a perfect example of that. He's really high intensity. He's always on the go.
He's like a horse ready to kick down the stable door.
Yeah, and you have to kind of reel that in sometimes and pitch under control.
Corey Kluber gets the strikeout to end the inning. White Sox get on the board first. Steve, thanks for stopping by. Best
pleasure.
of luck as always. Steve Kartze, Indians minor league pitching coach, with us here tonight. It's a 1-0 Chicago lead now, middle of the 4th. Tyler Saladino now with 1,200 career strikeouts. Yeah, that puts him 7th all time on the Indians' strikeout list. Here in the bottom of the 4th, the Indians are down a run, and Jose Ramirez will lead off for Cleveland. Carson Fulmer has allowed just 2 hits. He's done a nice job. Fastball that he's been able to ride up in the zone, and a breaking ball that he's been able to get hitters to chase, get him out on the front foot. And he's only walked 1, and that came with 2 outs in the 3rd. And as we have seen time and time again this year, when you walk hitters in this Indians lineup, especially to start an inning, you are asking for a long inning, because they will pounce and they'll make you pay.
Well, that's the toughest thing about this lineup, is that they continue to make good pitches against them, and not everybody can do that. You know, you get in that strike zone, and you know you can't continue to just throw them strike after strike. You know, you're going to fall behind in a few counts, and when you do walk somebody, you have to continue to make quality pitches, and it's hard to do for anybody when you're going for any pitcher to go through any lineup.
Mike Pelfrey only pitched 2 2/3 last night. He gave up 6 hits. He also walked 6.
Yeah.
Now the 2-2, and he pops him up right on the infield. Saladino, the shortstop, 1 down.
Well, get ready for all the excitement, drama, and thrilling plays. The 2017 Major League Baseball postseason begins October 3rd. Go to MLB.com/postseason for a full schedule, and it is all set in both leagues.
And the Indians will await the winner of the wild card game between the Yankees and the Twins. That game will be Tuesday night at 8 o'clock. And then once that game is finished, we'll know who the Indians are playing on Thursday night here at Progressive Field, and we'll know what time that game will be played, but not until that outcome is determined. And remember, you can keep it tuned right here to Sports Time Ohio all throughout the month of October for all of your Indians coverage. 1-0 pitch. The games will be elsewhere. Most, I think, FS1 in the first couple of rounds. Fox would have the World Series should the Indians be fortunate enough to advance. But before and after every postseason game, right here, Sports Time Ohio. 2 hours before the first pitch, we'll have you covered. And as soon as the games are over, come right back to STL. We'll have coverage from the locker room. Andre and myself will be with the team. Rick, along with Al and Jensen in the studio. They'll have the highlights and analysis.
We'll be on for at least an hour afterwards.
Yes,
so
sir.
I can tell you that.
Two and 1 to count, and the pitch is hit high in the air to left field. Not deep enough, though. Liriano back and makes the catch. 2 down.
Just a little bit in on him. Boy, he had a good swing at it. Just got underneath it. That's called missing it by just a fraction.
And he knew it, too.
Oh, yeah. He's had some really good swings off Fulmer in his first 2 at-bats. Look at the young man. He's sitting over there. He's learning. He's asking
He is soaking
questions.
it all
He's
in,
a
isn't
sponge,
he?
man. That's a sponge. I'm going to call him Spongy.
SpongeBob. Yeah, probably not. Jay Bruce grounded out his only time up. Threw it by him 1-1. Took a little something off. Right back into the chest protector of the home plate umpire, Pat Hoberg.
Make sure that thing is tightened up because it comes back and it is, ooh, what it did, it knocked off his
throat protector.
Yeah, that protector that hangs down to protect his throat after it bounced off his padding on the shoulder.
Trying to do a quick repair on the fly.
Well, you better make sure it's it probably snaps in there.
2 down, bases empty. A ball and 2 strikes to count on Jay Bruce.
Yeah, you got to make sure you have that protection covering everything.
And off the plate. Carson Fulmer has gone 6 innings a couple of times here in the month of September. That's his long. The White Sox do not have a complete game this year. No White Sox team ever has gone a whole season without at least 1 complete game.
Well, you don't think they're going to get one then this year? You wouldn't think so with 1 game to go.
Tribe fans with the Bruce calls with 2 down here in the inning. Downstairs, ball 4. And so with 2 down, the Indians have a base runner. And Carlos Santana will be coming up. Santana grounded out his only time up. Carlos just 7 for his last 40 at the plate. But when you talk about Santana, Ramirez, Lindor, guys that even Encarnacion, they're there every day. Fouled off. Santana wants to get to that 1,000 career hit mark before the season ends. That might be.
How many more does he need? 6?
He's 6 away.
He better get a hit here then to get it started.
Grounded right into the teeth of the shift. Moncada will throw him out. 4 complete from Progressive Field. The White Sox won, the Indians nothing. is brought to you by Levin Furniture. For the best deals on furniture and mattresses, shop Levin's. And by your Northern Ohio Honda dealers. Made in Ohio, Ohio proud. One 0 Chicago, 5th inning here at Progressive Field. A sold-out house on Fan Appreciation Weekend. Dollar dogs, fireworks, the whole shooting match. Fouled right back. Liriano fouling one off. It's 0-2. Corey Kluber, a chance to accomplish something here tonight that no Indians pitcher has done in 65 years. Let's go 6-0 in the month of September.
My goodness, he was 5-1 in the month of August, and he was the pitcher of the month. Pitcher of the month in June. I mean, look at the ERAs and the numbers. He's got a really good chance to become pitcher of the month back-to-back months, and 3 times out of the course of the 6 months.
Early win in 1952 was the last Indians pitcher to go 6-0 in the month of September. Bob Feller also went 6-0 in September in 1948 when the Indians last won the World Championship. Did he go? He did.
Yes, he did.
3 strikeouts for Kluber, 1 down here in the 5th. T-Mobile deeper coverage. Here's your race. Kluber and Sale in the American League, Scherzer, Kershaw in the National League, and we understand Max Scherzer has left his start. We're not sure if it was an injury or just a precautionary situation for Scherzer. Ground ball to Lindor. And there are 2 down. Well, let's go down to Andre Knott.
Well, as you talk about Corey Kluber and his chase for another Cy Young Award, to me what stands out, and you guys would know this better or know this as well, or maybe you remember it, 2014, Tito brought this up. I talked to a couple other guys, and they said he was more of a fastball pitcher. Used the 4-seamer, used the 2-seamer, and there was times he would go 8-9 batters in a row to start a game and throw nothing but fastballs. But because he can put it where he wanted to put it, he was successful. They say now that he uses the curve or slurve or slider, whatever we want to call it, he's become even more dominant, but he's the same guy. I consistently hear people talk about, you know, the work he does in between starts and things like that. But what stands out to Terry Francona is that he's changed himself a little bit as a pitcher, but he's still dominant as anyone else in the game.
Well, he's at a high now of 35% swing and miss rate. I mean, and that's higher than anybody in baseball, and that's because of the breaking ball, and he can put that pretty much where he wants to.
And just to talk about, as you guys were talking about Scherzer leaving the game, we know exactly what was going on with that, but that's an injury we'll pay attention to, or a situation.
Yeah. Don't
forget, out in Colorado, Kershaw's on the mound for the Dodgers as well. So basically all the guys are pretty much going tonight in their last start for the playoffs.
Fouled back by Yolmer Sanchez. You know, the other thing about your comments with regards to Corey Kluber, I don't know how long I've heard this phrase in baseball in particular. It probably holds true in every sport. It's a game of adjustments. Yeah. And Corey Kluber has really proven how good he is, masterful at making adjustments, whether it's year to year, Andre, or pitch to pitch.
Yes, it is. And that's what everybody talks about that's great about him. is how he can read a guy at bat. Even when he's not pitching, there's times where, a guy like, the last night's starter, you look at somebody, Trevor Bauer, he said, sometimes I'll come off and Kluber will say, hey, on that 2-1 pitch, you may want to take a little off. And he goes, well, that's easy for him to say.
Yeah.
He goes, I didn't see that. He sees things and he slows the game down, unlike many others in the game.
The 1-2 pitch. Reminds me of when our old pal Dave Nelson was playing and Ted Williams was his manager. Ted Williams was saying something to him about a particular pitcher and the pitches he was throwing, and Davey just looked at him like, maybe you can see that, Ted, but I'm just fighting for my life up there.
With his vision, yes. Well, guys that are so good at the game, sometimes you're right, they do see things a little differently or maybe a little quicker than an average major leaguer.
One of the guys that I was fortunate enough to be around and watch closely is Robbie Alomar. Robbie was a guy who saw things, and I was thinking to myself, I'm not even watching the same game he's watching. But the things that he paid attention to, the small details that, when you're just watching a ball game, up here you're kind of looking more big picture. When you're in the middle of the diamond like he was, he's looking at every little thing. If he could gain an edge by just focusing on something.
Well, that's what every player aspires to do. They try to do that. Not everybody can, and some see maybe a little bit more than others.
Yeah.
You're trying to get every edge to help you at your position, no matter where you play or what's going on, or to hit a baseball and learn everything. There's a lot to take in. It's a very difficult sport.
0-1 pitch. Tried to hold up, but I guess he did. 1-1. Yohan Moncada twice has grounded out to second baseman Jose Ramirez. Sellout crowd trying to make some noise, trying to get some blood flow going as well. 56 degrees doesn't sound all that cold, but when you consider 4 days ago it was 84 at game time. 1-2 pitch up the gut. Lindor will take it himself, and the side is retired. We're halfway through. It's Chicago 1, Cleveland 0. Bottom of the 5th, bottom of the Indians order coming up here. Lonnie Chisenhall, Yan Gomes, and Giovanni Urshela. One 0 White Sox. Chicago had 2 infield singles and a broken bat flare in the shallow right field with 2 outs. That plated the only run of this game in the 4th inning. But the Tribe has not been able to solve Carson Fulmer. They have just 2 hits tonight, and they have not had a man reach second base yet. Lonnie Chisenhall looks at an off-speed pitch for strike 1. He grounded out his only time up. Fastball by him, 0-2. Mike Clevenger getting loose in the bullpen. Clevenger has been superb this year. Picked up his first win out of the bullpen this year earlier on the homestand. He's now 12-5 this season, and he'll be working out of the bullpen the rest of the way. Terry Francona said he plans to use Clevenger as a quote-unquote weapon. The 1-2 up high. Because Clevenger has the innings built up and the stamina, he can give you multiple innings out of the bullpen in the postseason if necessary.
Absolutely. They used him once in back-to-back days the last time he appeared.
Got a piece of it, and Smith couldn't hold on. You know what's funny is, you know, with what the Indians did last year in the playoffs with Andrew Miller and how that sort of changed maybe the way people look at managing a pitching staff and a bullpen in October baseball. It wasn't all that long ago. Remember in 05 in the White Sox, their starters, they all went complete games in that World Series.
Yeah. Well, the thing of it is, though, if you're going to use your bullpen, not all pitchers can do that. Come back out and, you know, you get that kind of workload. It takes a different person.
I think that's though, when you think about Andrew Miller, what he did last year and coming off the injury that he's had this season, having Clevenger maybe takes a little bit of the pressure of having to go to him as much maybe this year.
We'll see.
And by pressure, I don't mean mental pressure, but just the physical toll it takes. You know, Miller's up for the challenge. He can't wait. Now the 0-1. And that got Gomes on the hand or the wrist. Yep, got him on the wrist.
Ball kept running in, so he'll be on base for the second time tonight. Not the way he wanted to get there. Looked like it got him on the wrist. Look at, or the finger. He's showing the doc the fingers right there on the fist. Got the nails painted for this weekend. This one runs in a 2-seamer, and you know he started to swing at it, but it sure did. It caught him right on that knuckle. You know, being a catcher, it's his right hand. I'm sure he gets hit over there a lot. Most people, they'd be in pain. Catchers shake it off.
Look who's coming up.
I'll be darned. I didn't even see him in the on-deck circle. We were looking at that replay. But Brantley's going to get an at-bat. How good is this to see?
Crowd absolutely loves it. August 8th, the last time Brantley was on the field for a game. You're not human if you don't maybe have a butterfly or two or feel your pulse rate quicken. But if there's a guy who could step in after missing that much time and make it look like he hasn't missed all that time, it would be Michael Brantley. Pulls it foul. No balls, 2 strikes. He doesn't do a lot of pinch hitting because he's normally, if he's healthy, he's in the lineup playing. But in his career, when coming off the bench, not a bad 8 for 17 mark. Indians down a run here in the bottom of the 5th. Fouls the fastball back. It stays 0-2. The words we use to describe Corey Kluber could all be applicable to Michael Brantley. They're very similar in that regard. Consistent, low key, 0-2 pitch, but authoritative. When they speak, people listen.
The unfortunate thing is that Michael's missed so much time the last couple of years. That's the thing. He was coming back, made the All-Star team, and after not playing for a couple of years, and then all of a sudden this happened, and he has had to sit out. But boy, oh boy, and it's an important year for Michael because at the end of the year, does he have an option left?
The 1-2 pulls that one foul.
I mean, he's going to put up a quality at bat. This guy could sleep and hibernate like a bear and come out and put up a quality at bat.
Arch, one of the 2 things. He's a team option. And how about the last 2 pitches? 0-2, right off the plate, he takes it after not playing.
I know.
And then he fouls out. I mean, how many guys can really do that?
That's exactly what I'm talking about. This guy could hibernate and come out. Some guys, are born to do stuff like this, and he's one of them. He's always been able to hit with 2 strikes. He just goes up there. He's got a great eye at the plate, and you're going to have to work to get him out.
Well, he's been locked in, and I know he's been in the cages almost all night. And when he came back out here about 15 minutes ago, I had a feeling he was coming up. We didn't know how soon, but you could tell every teammate went up to him and grabbed him and was excited for him to have this moment.
One ball, 2 strikes, 1 on, 1 out here in the 5th. Indians down a run.
Where does he think Gomes is going?
I don't know. Carson Fulmer's at 70 pitches on the night. .45 of those 70 have been strikes. Looks like there is action in the Chicago bullpen. Huh. 2-2.
There's that split he just takes, spits on it. He'll work himself right back into a count. If anything, this at bat has gotten the crowd into it. They haven't had much to cheer about with 2 hits tonight. Now they're into it after he was down 0-2. Base hit here would really get him going. Oh boy.
Carson Fulmer sets, and the 2-2 pitch to Brantley. Pulls that foul. And to your point about Brantley missing all this time, the one thing that he has been able to do while he's been hurt is swing. sometimes maybe a guy is injured, and the one thing you can't do is what you need to do, which is swing the bat. But the ankle injury, it wasn't so much that he couldn't stand up and take his swings. It was just running. That was the last hurdle for him to clear, just being able to put the pressure on that ankle and push off and run down the line. 2-2. Now, hey, I understand what you're saying. Facing live pitching is not the same thing as hitting in the cage and even live BP, but at least it's something that he was able to do to keep his skills completely from eroding away.
Yeah, when you miss 7 weeks, and like you say, August 8th is his last game. You miss 7 weeks, and you're not facing live pitching. It's not easy, but he just shows you how the at-bat he's putting up here after falling off, about 4 or 5 pitches to stay alive after being down in the count.
Guys missed 7 weeks. This is the 9th pitch of the at-bat.
Look at it, and it's going to continue. And he's not even, he hasn't hit in 7 weeks. That's how good of an at-bat he gives you. He's getting enough pitches in this at-bat. He may be able to DH tomorrow, get ready to go.
Josh Tomlin, one of his closest friends. Anxiously awaiting the outcome of this AB. And a line drive right field, base hit for Brantley. On his way to third goes Gomes. Welcome back. The doctor is still in.
That's awesome. That is absolutely awesome. So that pinch hitting average goes up, puts up a quality at bat, goes first to third, and this crowd's loving it. His teammates are loving it, and I know he's loving it. Watch this, pull it. That little cutter on the inside part of the plate. Didn't get it in enough, and Michael just hit it where it's pitched. Well done.
Well, I don't know where Mickey Brantley is watching the game from tonight, but hopefully he got a chance to see that smooth swing, and that's got to bring a smile of pride to his face.
I'm sure he's watching. All right, pitching coach Don Cooper goes out. First time that Fulmer has been in trouble tonight. Coming with 1 out, getting back to the top of the lineup, and now the Indians with a chance to get on the board, tie it up as the bullpen. That's a bummer. He's throwing. He's getting loose in the bullpen.
Ty Van Berkele's just got to be shaking his head down there going, folks, it's not supposed to be this easy.
Well, it's not. It's not easy, but you know what? He probably is not surprised.
No, if anybody's not surprised, it's him.
Exactly.
He's watched Michael put in all the work.
They know it.
He and Matt Quintero do such a phenomenal job with each and every one of these Indians hitters. Throwing batting practice, early BP, soft toss.
That's Michael's way of saying, let's go, boys. It's not that tough. Get a hit. It all started with Gomes getting hit by a pitch.
No, let's see if Brantley's at bat injects some life into the ball club now. It's only their 3rd hit of the game. Lindor takes down and in, ball 1. Frankie walked his last time up. Who that was sitting at the end of the White Sox dugout. I thought he was trying to go over with the bare hand. Maybe it was the guy with the glove in front of him. Lindor try to deliver the Indians' first run of this game and tie it up. Broken bat, bouncer towards second. They go to second to get the forced error. Lindor beats it out, and we are tied at 1. Brantley erased on the force. But Lindor picks up his 89th run batted in on the year, and that run really produced by Brantley's base hit.
Yeah, this was good. That's a tougher double play to turn, going 4-6-3. That's the long way, and it was the speed just beating it out. He rolled over on that splitter, and he was watching it all the way. You saw him every stride. He was taking a peek, but able to beat it out. Ties the score at 1. Gomes comes in, and it's an 89 RBI for Lindor.
Meantime, Michael Brantley accepting handshakes and congratulations in the dugout on his base hit that moved Gomes to third, and the Indians have tied it up here in the 5th. Now Jason Kipnis 1 for 2 tonight.
Oh, he got caught.
And Lindor tagged out to end the inning. Oh, they're going to call a balk. Home plate umpire Pat Holberg signaled a balk call, and that's going to put Lindor in scoring position with 2 down.
You can't argue a balk call, so he won't be out there for long. But I didn't see the umpire's hand go up or anything. I wasn't really paying attention. I was watching Lindor, but let's watch his front knee. I think that's what he was pointing at. Watch the front knee. Does it bend? Oh yeah. Good call. There he is.
Before he stepped
took
off.
his mask off.
Oh yeah, definitely.
He did.
Yep.
That's deceiving the runner right there. When you bend that left front knee and you don't go home, then that is a balk. No question about it. Good call. I didn't see it originally, but he took his mask off behind home plate, and Pat Holberg was right on it. Watch the front knee. Now look at the umpire. Mask off. It's a balk. There, he had it. He saw it.
But I tell you what, in real speed right there.
It's amazing the first base umpire didn't see it.
And now here comes Rick Renneria.
He's going to go get his left-hander. The rookie now. He started the inning. I mean, he got the first out.
I think with Lindor at first base, he wasn't going to go get him.
Right.
But once he balked him into scoring position, he figures maybe we do need to make that change. Or does he?
Well, I don't know, unless he wants to get a clarification from the umpire.
I guess not.
He didn't. He just wanted to talk to the umpire. He didn't even talk to his pitcher.
That was really weird.
I don't understand what's going on.
Well, Mark Wegner's the crew chief, so maybe there was something about the balk call that he wanted to talk to Wegner about, since he's the crew chief.
He might be asking, why didn't the first base umpire call? Why does the home plate umpire? But I mean, he was right. It was a balk. And the first base umpire, sometimes 4 umpires may see it. Other times, a couple. But this one, it was only the home plate umpire, but he made the right call.
All right, back to action. And a first pitch strike to Kipnis.
So some strange occurrence in this inning. Get the Indians on the board, and they have a chance now with a 2-out base hit to take the lead. If Kip can keep rolling, he's been swinging it well.
Pulled foul. Fans were enthusiastically cheering that grab down there.
Brantley brought the glove. Good for him.
Isn't it great how that always seems to work out?
Well, he's doing it for a reason. I'm going to bring my glove and I'm going to get me a foul ball. How many people could say I went home with one also?
The 0-2.
Remember, he had Michael Brantley down 0-2, and Brantley put up a terrific at-bat. I think it was a 10-pitch at-bat before he got a base hit. Sometimes young pitchers, they might be able to get ahead of you, but putting you away might be a little tougher. But you can see Fulmer, he's got good stuff. He has some quality pitches.
Carson Palmer has good stuff too.
Yes,
he throws a bigger ball though.
Yeah, a little longer.
A little oblong. White Sox have the infield pulled around, not quite a shift, but you can see Moncada out there shallow right trying to take the pull hit away from Kipnis. Angle really shortened up in center field. Garcia plays normally pretty deep and right. Now a 1-2. Missed away with it. And the count evens up. This has been one of those innings where each and every at bat seems like the Indians are really grinding their way through it, especially the Brantley AB.
It's the first time they had a guy in scoring position. You know, they go from first to third. Out there than that, they didn't have it. So now that you grind them out, boy, when you get a chance to score.
Kipnis drives one deep right field down the line. It is a foul.
Oh boy! I'll tell you, he's getting very quick on the inside pitches now too. That ball he pulled foul. That ball he hit in the first inning. Boy, it wasn't by much. But watch this. He's going to come in with that cutter, but he doesn't get it in enough. But I guess Kipnis saw it, got it out of there, and you can see the distance it is fouled by. But it certainly sent it into the corner. Now they're going to be fighting for that ball.
Who ordered the Rawlings martini?
That's a big olive.
Fulmer's 2-2 pitch. Eventually. Steps off for the second time.
Well, he's confused right now, man. He's laboring this inning. I'll tell you what, it's I think these guys are thriving off that at bat Michael Brantley put up and put that runner in the scoring position. Lindor hustled his way to first base to get the run home, then the balk, and now he's really
2-2. Fly ball center field. Kipnis broke his bat, slammed it down in frustration, and the inning is over. But the Indians come back to tie it. Michael Brantley's first at bat in well over a month. Base hit leads to a run. Indians. White Sox knotted up. He claims to be just a kid from Akron, but he's got street smarts. Andre wipes out Mustard.
Mustard got Andre in the pregame show today, so there's a little look at him. He's waiting.
He broke the bat before he hit him.
Andre got jammed with another heater. This is why he got his revenge right there. That was pregame show. He was talking with Alan Jensen. Look at Mustard laughing. You know Andre was going to get even. He doesn't get mad.
Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen for Mike Clevenger.
Good job, Andre.
Corey Kluber went 5 in his final tune-up before the postseason begins. And now Clevenger to face Abreu, Garcia, and Smith here in the 6th. Eric Gonzalez has taken over at third base for Urshela after Brantley pinch hit for him. Down in the dirt. Two balls, two strikes. You know, it's I thought it was interesting when we had Steve Carsey on. He mentioned Mike Clevenger as being someone who maybe not reminded Carsey of himself, but swung on and missed. Clev strikes out Abreu for out number 1 here in the 6th. Mike has always had that high intensity. Remember, Tito talked about him in spring training last year, saying, boy, this kid came out just to throw live BP the first day, and we had to hold him back.
Yeah.
And so obviously it's somebody that Steve Carsey could relate to with that intensity.
Well, if you remember a couple of games, remember the one in Baltimore where he made a start, and you know, I guess you can watch a game and not pay attention there. You don't have to worry about getting hit. You know, in Baltimore, he was too hyper. You know, he has to back it off and slow it down. Andre talked a couple of times this year in starts about that.
Garcia slowly taps one up the third baseline foul. Out of play to the right. Popped up foul. That's out of play. The Dodgers, the Indians, and the Astros all reaching 100 wins this season. One-two pitch, fouled out of play. Dodgers with 102 victories. The Indians with 101. And the Houston Astros with an even 100 victories on the year. They had their 5-game win streak stopped earlier today by Boston. In the dirt. And with that loss by Houston, the Indians then clinched the #1 seed in the American League. Redberg says it's the first time since '03, so it is fairly uncommon then to have 3 teams get to 100 wins in the same season. Yankees in the American League, Braves and Giants in the National League. In off the plate. Just missed inside, and obviously Garcia draws a walk. Mid-game recap brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Not a lot to recap. Broken bat and a couple of infield hits. That led to the only run of the game for the White Sox. Stayed that way until the 5th. Michael Brantley, sidelined since August 8th. Comes off the bench with a pinch hit single. A 10-pitch at bat got Gomes to third. And he scores on a ground ball to tie the game.
That was great to watch.
The other season I remember was back in '93, before wild cards and all that stuff. The Giants and Dodgers. Giants and Braves, not the Dodgers. Giants and Braves staged an epic battle right down to the wire. Braves won 104. Giants won 103. Thanks for coming. Enjoy your October.
Yeah, well, it used to be a lot like that back in the 70s.
You think about that, 103 wins.
I know, and you're going home because you got to win your division.
Yeah.
Yeah. We used to have a lot of 2 teams in the Eastern Division win 100 games throughout, whether it was the Yankees or Boston or Baltimore and things like that.
It was the Dodgers that kept the Giants out that year. They beat them on the last day of the season.
Well, that's what we were talking to Mike Jackson about when he was up here, wasn't it?
Right.
He was on the Giants. I mean, I think Dave Burba was too. And they both pitched in the last game of that season.
Yeah, they got lambasted in the last game. I think it was 12-1 was the final. But just to think you got 103 wins, and there is no parting gift.
Yeah, that's a hard way to go.
Speaking of parting gifts, sad news today. Monty Hall passed away at the age of 96.
Let's make a deal.
Think about
96.
this. You don't have to answer now. Top 5 game show hosts. Your top 5. Line to right. That might be in the gap. Jay Bruce going to try to cut it off. He can't. It's going to go to the wall. Garcia digging for third. They're going to wave him all the way around. Ramirez fires toward home, but not in time. And the White Sox go back in front. Kevin Smith gaps one, and he has driven in both runs for Chicago tonight.
Boy, he hit that ball hard.
Yeah, he did.
He sure did. Got it to the wall. And I'll tell you what, I saw Garcia limping around, and he's been moping. But I'll tell you right now, he put his sprinting shoes on when he saw that ball go into the gap. And he didn't hesitate. He was full out. Watch him
put his head down around second base.
He knows it's in the gap. Here you go. Now, he was limping around and limped to first base. Nothing wrong now. And he scores easily. Well, it's a 2-1 Chicago lead. As you mentioned, Smith, both ribbies.
Matt Davidson has a couple of hits on the night. One a solid base hit up the middle. The other one a little slow tapper toward third. Mike Clevenger checks the runner at second. Now the 0-2 pitch. He tried to hold up, but I think he went around. Yes,
he did,
said Lance Barrett.
They appealed it.
And that is out number 2. Second strikeout for Clevenger.
Look at it from the side. Wasn't sure. Davidson upset that the call went against him, but yes, he did. From that angle, you can really tell.
Tyler Saladino 0 for 2 on the night. Takes fastball in there for a strike. Nice pitch, 0-2. Had him way out in front. The 0-2, a little bit high. Slowly chopped towards third. Gonzalez racing in, scoops it, throws it. Got him.
Nice play.
White Sox regain the lead. 2-1 Chicago, middle of the 6th. It's home opener at Nationwide Arena against the New York Islanders. Countdown to face-off presented by your local participating Wendy's. Al Albuquerque. Formerly with the Tigers, Kansas City, now with Chicago. He's got the 3, 4, 5 hitters due up for the Indians. And the pitch upstairs, ball 1. In 17 innings of work this year, Albuquerque has one more strikeout than letters in his last name. 13 Ks on the season. This is his 21st appearance. His perhaps most memorable appearance here in Cleveland resulted in a walk-off. Fouled right back.
I remember one game when he was with the Tigers, he ended up walking in a run, didn't he?
Yeah.
But he gets Jose to elevate his swing and gets him on a ball up out of the zone.
Edwin Encarnacion is 0 for 2. He is popped up and he is flied out. Broken bat, caught. Moncada, 2 down. The Red Cross depends on financial donations to be able to provide disaster relief immediately. You can help those affected by hurricanes in both the United States and Puerto Rico by visiting redcross.org or texting Red Cross to 90999 to make a $10 donation. Jay Bruce has grounded out and he has walked. Well, Rick Rennery is going to go to a left-hander, and we're going to have a timeout. With 2 down here in the 6th, and Chicago leading it 2-1. Gonzalez, Dave Wanstead, Colin Cowherd, and Michael Vick have all the latest breaking news and updates that you will need to start your football Sunday. Fox NFL kickoff tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern on your local Fox affiliate. Number 32, Aaron Bummer. 10 straight scoreless appearances.
coming on to try and get the last out of this inning here in the 6th. Albuquerque did his job, getting 2 outs.
He pulls that one foul. Right up the first baseline, but just foul. And a count 0-2 on Jay Bruce. Game 161. One more to go tomorrow afternoon.
Hard to believe, isn't it? Down to 1.
Go to outside. Indians will have a couple of days off before they open up division series play at home Thursday night. Foul out of play. The Yankees will host the Twins in the wild card game Tuesday night. Have to believe it'll be Irvin Santana for the Twins, and
I would think so. Severino, I would think. Yes, I certainly would believe so. I'd be shocked if those weren't the 2.
Bruce sends a lazy pop to shallow center. Engel comes in, and the side is retired. 6 complete. 2-1 Chicago. To you by the injury lawyers at Elk & Elk. Proud partners of the Cleveland Indians. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. And by the stylish 2017 Kia Optima. Beautiful shot from the Gateway Plaza. 2-1, White Sox on top, 7th inning. Mike Clevenger stays on for 2nd inning of work. At least he'll start the 7th, and we'll see. They've got Tyler Olson, the left-hander, up in the bullpen. Reimer Liriano 0 for 2 on the night. Takes a pitch low, ball 1. A little low, 2-0. Even though Max Scherzer went out early in that game, the Washington Nationals have one-hit the Pirates through 8 innings.
Wow. So that's still a 1-0 game then.
Yeah.
Huh?
2-2. Full count. And a fastball low, ball 4. Second walk issued by Clevenger. Leadoff man aboard for Chicago. Well, the American League Division Series will get underway Thursday night, and you'll see the games on FS1. The Indians will play host to the winner of that wild card game between the Twins and the Yankees, and the Astros will host the Boston Red Sox. Game times will be determined once we know who the wild card winner is. Bunt. Santana has it. He'll go to first. And they get the out as Engel is retired. 1 down. Liriano in the scoring position for the top of the order. Yolmer Sanchez. Tito's going to go to the bullpen. Yolmer Sanchez. As Tyler Olson will be coming on when we come back. First final regular season outing. He went 5 innings, allowed 1 run, 6 hits, didn't walk anybody, struck out 3.
Yeah, the 3 hits he gave up in the 4th inning, you know, he made good pitches. They blooped one in and had an infield hit, but he was right on his mark. He was throwing the ball well, so that's his final tune-up. They came back and tied the score in the 5th, and then when Mike Clevenger came in, they promptly got 1 more, so they have a 2-1 lead, and trying to keep it right there is Tyler Olson, who's done a wonderful job this year, appearing for the 29th time. His 19 innings, 17 strikeouts. Opposition in just 197. Get the next 2 hitters, I would think.
You know, I never considered the upheaval and the problems that can cause a pitcher when you get released and you're bouncing around the waiver wire the way Tyler Olson did a year ago. Ground ball too short. Lindor looks to run it back. Throws him out. 2 down. And for Tyler Olson, last year he was traded by the Dodgers to the Yankees in the offseason. So before the season began, it was in January, he got traded to the Yankees. And then he's pitching with the Yankees. And then they put him on waivers. He gets selected by the Royals. And he's with the Royals for a little while, and then they put him on waivers, and he ends up with the Indians. So as Carsey was talking about, I never thought about, those 10-day waiting periods. So that's 10 days, another 10 days.
Right.
That's 20 days during the season where he was just sitting out there wondering where I'm going next. Yeah. And so once he was able to kind of go into this year with more of a, all right, I know where I'm going to be. At least you hope you think you know where you're going to be every day. But boy, he's really shined this season. And there for a strike. Swung out and missed, and it's 1-2. Olson deals. Broken bat. One hopper to Lindor. Tyler Olson does it again. Stretch time in Cleveland. 2-1 Chicago. An absolute Cleveland legend, a sports icon, the great Brian Sipe, taking in the ball game here this evening. The leader of the Cardiac Kids. That's your guy. I mean, you guys are playing on the same field.
I did not know he was in town.
Well, shout out to our guy Doug Deacon, who alerted me that Brian Sipe was here. He dropped him off over here because Sipe will be at the Browns game. They had their Legends dinner last night, and he'll be a part of that tomorrow over at the Browns game. He has his grandkids and his kids with him here tonight, so it's a big night for Brian Sipe.
Yeah, he's still out in San Diego, right, Andre?
Yes, he is. Doing a great job out there in San Diego, coaching football. And he wanted to come see the Tribe after they went to the Browns Legends dinner. Tells you all you need to know about how hot the Indians are.
Yeah.
Right now.
Tell you what, that guy, the thing that always amazed me about Brian Sipe is when you look at his size and think he competed against the giants that he did in that sport, in that arena.
Not a great arm, but he was very accurate, wasn't
man. And I mean, just the guts of a cat burglar. I don't think, I mean, didn't matter. Steel curtain, purple people eaters, doomsday, orange crush. Didn't matter what defense was bearing down on him. He stood in the pocket, throwing strikes to Dave Logan.
His phone's blowing up. They're going to tell him he's on TV. What's up, Brian?
The 1-2 pitch. Down and in. Ground ball to short. Saladino. Low throw dug out by Abreu. 1 down. Miller time brought to you by Miller Lite. We've been waiting for this. August 8th, the last time we saw Michael Brantley on the field. He hurt the ankle. He's been working his tail off trying to get back. Gets on the field tonight. His first and only appearance as a pinch hitter. It's a 10-pitch at bat. It results in a line drive single to right. It leads to the Indians' only run of the game thus far. It tied the game at the time back in that 5th inning.
And that's really the only opportunity that they've had a runner in scoring position, and it was a ground ball that Lindor beat out to get him on the board. But his hit pushed Gomes to third.
We don't know. Frankly, I'm not sure Tito knows for sure what Michael Brantley's role will or could be in the postseason. But Rick, even if it's limited to just doing that, just as a pinch hitter.
Well, you know he would want him. Tito would want him.
That would be enough, don't you think?
I would think so. Yeah.
He's a career 500 pinch hitter, 9 for 18.
Well, and yeah, I would say yes, you want to have him there, no question about it. And you know, and if he can move on, you never know what can happen to go to the next round. He could possibly play. Who knows?
Abraham Almonte's first at bat of the night. Nick Goody getting loose in the Cleveland bullpen. He might be coming on in a situation where the Indians have the lead if the Tribe can get off the deck and rally here in the 7th. Slowly chopped foul, third base side. Eighth pitch of the at bat coming up here. Aaron Bummer got the last out of the 6th. Staying on to work here in the 7th. And it's ball 4. The tying run is aboard for the Indians as Almonte goes down to first.
And here he comes.
So it looks like we're going to have another pitching change. The signal has been made. Timeout. 2-1 Chicago. Tying run aboard for the Tribe here in the 7th. into the postseason, and our coverage will continue. We won't have the games, but before and after every Indians postseason game, tune to Sports Time Ohio. 2 hours before the first pitch, Drennan Live. Andre and I will be down on the field with the club wherever they're at. Rick will be with Alan Jensen in the studio, and we'll have post-game coverage following each game as well. So wherever you go to watch the game, make sure you tune us in before and after right here on Sports Time Ohio. White Sox go to right-hander Gregory Infante.
Infante is 52nd game. 3.17 ERA, coming on to face Yan Gomes with 1 out here in the bottom half of the 7th. Man on first.
Yan Gomes taking a breaking ball for a strike. Gomes singled in the 3rd. He was hit by a pitch. He came around and scored the only run for the Tribe back in the 5th. Foul back our way. Gomes goes up the ladder, can't catch it. And that is out number 2. And it looks like Eric Gonzalez is going to be called back for a pinch hitter.
Mejia coming out.
Yeah, Francisco Mejia. Mejia will bat with 2 down, and the tying run at first base for the Tribe here in the bottom of the 7th inning. It's a 2-1 ball game. Mejia 2 for 12. You see there, just getting an opportunity. And Rick pointed out earlier, Mejia talking with Edwin Encarnacion in the dugout during the game. This has been valuable experience for Mejia, just to be around the big league players, getting an idea of maybe what it takes, what he needs to work on, improve on to get himself to this level. He's put up great numbers everywhere he's been in the minor leagues.
And you know what I liked? You go up to him after he went up to Encarnacion after an at-bat just to talk to him maybe and ask him something about that. Ramirez takes this kid and he sort of abuses him. He loves having him around. And as we heard last night, hey, Jose, who's the best hitter on the team?
Bahia. Yeah.
In his own words last night.
Runner goes. Swing and a miss. Throw down. Not in time. Ball gets away. And holding right there is Almonte. Ball didn't skip away far enough for him to do anything, but he's in scoring position.
Had a good jump, though. So when he was off and running, watch. It was Smith made it a lot closer than it could have been. That throw on the shortstop side. And Saladino couldn't pick it. But even if he did, he would have been safe. Good jump. So now that tying run in scoring position. But Mejia is down in the count. 1-2.
Swung on and missed. Mejia down on strikes. 7 complete. It remains Chicago 2, Cleveland 1. Authority of the Cleveland Indians and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians. 2-1 Chicago as we go to the 8th inning. And the 4th pitcher of the night for the Indians will be right-hander Nick Goody. Goody will have the 3, 4, and 5 hitters due up for Chicago. And defensively now the Indians bring on Yandy Diaz to take over at third base. Abraham Almonte also stays in the game in left field. Abreu is 2 for 3. He has doubled, singled, and scored a run. You know, I got to thinking about one other thing regarding Brian Sipe. Just seeing him here tonight, he kind of jogged my memory a little bit. But long after his playing career was over, you know, he wasn't part of this community. Kipnis makes the catch. Almonte was running hard, but Jason, the center fielder, he said, hey, that's my ball. I'm the center fielder now.
Yes, indeed. That's so true, and this is where the problems come. You know, you have new guys out there together, and you know Almonte wanted to make sure he could get there, but you have to take charge. Communication, the #1 thing.
But long after Brian's career was over, he wasn't part of the community. He didn't live here. He was in San Diego, where he was from. When the Browns announced that they were leaving, and this town was just rock bottom emotionally, he and his former teammate Jerry Shirk, who also wasn't living in Cleveland at the time, they got in a motorhome and they traveled across the country, and they stopped and visited with some of their former teammates and various Browns backers clubs and just talked to people about what was going on at the time, to raise awareness and show kind of the country maybe about the passion that this city had for its football team. And you know, it's just something he didn't have to do that, in other words, you know what I mean? And I think it showed a lot about how special this place was to him and to Jerry Shirk as well.
You're talking about two very good guys right there, Jerry Shirk and Brian Sipe, to go along with Deacon and the rest of those guys here. They were no doubt huge in this community.
Yeah, Deke and his guy Robert Jackson, they made their homes and their lives here.
Still have their business thriving here. It's yes, indeed.
Two balls and a strike to count on Avisail Garcia, who is 0 for 2. His flied out ground out. He walked and scored back in the 6th. Up the middle, and that's going to get through. And that's the kind of year
good hitter
it has been for Garcia.
He's just flat out a really good hitter. He finds a way to put the bat on the ball.
If not for some guy named Altuve,
well,
he might have a chance at a batting title.
You know what? No question about it. But he has really turned it around, and they were expecting this, because I'll tell you what, I think earlier in spring training or in the offseason, I believe you would have been able to get this guy in a trade if you were interested for a right-handed bat. I really do. But boy, now it might be a different story.
I don't think so now.
Yes, indeed. He's proved to them he wants to play and he can hit, and he's in the middle part of that lineup.
1 on 1 out, Kevin Smith. He's driven in both White Sox runs here tonight. Takes up high, ball 1. Let's go downstairs to Andre Knott.
Well, not the last, but one of the things to look forward to in the next 24 hours is if we see Danny Salazar come out of the bullpen tomorrow afternoon. If he doesn't, there's a possibility he'll throw in the sim game that the team will have on Tuesday. Terry Francona told me they really don't know what to do with Danny at this point in time. But what they saw the other night was real, and they want to really look at him before they put the roster together.
It's crazy, Andre. We're talking about a team with 101 wins, yet still a lot of unanswered questions with regards to who's in and who's out on the postseason roster. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. Indians down 1. Storylines tonight, courtesy of Mazda. Corey Kluber, the strikeout master, finishing with 265 strikeouts this season, 7th highest total in Indians franchise history. And Jason Kipnis, another hit tonight, 1 out of 3.
Starting to come around the bat. Looking pretty good in the batter's box, getting his base hits. Just missed a home run foul tonight. And another pitcher for the Chicago White Sox, Denny Farquhar, for the 52nd time. It's a veteran that's been around.
Up and away, ball 1 to Francisco Lindor, who has struck out, walked, and he drove in the Indians' only run with a ground ball, fielder's choice, in the 5th.
Well, in the 8th inning, the Indians still only have 3 hits, all singles.
One hop smash to second. Moncada throws him out. And that will bring up Jason Kipnis. You know, it's weird when you think about a team and the clubhouse environment and the everyday nature of the sport of baseball. You've said this many times before. When you're hurt, when you're injured, when you're on the DL, you don't feel part of the team. And it's just my sense that it's taken Kip a little while to just kind of work his way back into that.
Yeah.
Now, it's not like he was, in Hawaii the whole time. He's been here, he's been around. There were obviously points where you're rehabbing and you're in the minor leagues, but I think it's just taken him a while to just feel like he belongs, like he fits back in again. When you're not in, you're out.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And he himself has spent 3 different stints on the disabled list, and it started right from spring training, couldn't start on time. And you're right, when you don't fit in, and then it transitions into when you come back for the final time, you're not playing second base anymore, you're going to a new position.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're now an outfielder, which you were 10 years ago.
Let's ratchet up the degree of difficulty a little bit.
Well, right. So now you deal with that. You're thinking, oh my God, what's going on here? Well, you got to figure it out. You got to move along if you want to fit in with this ball club the way it's taken off this year.
Pulls it towards second. Big room service hop for Moncada. 2 away. Back down to Andre.
All right, one last decision that has to be made or something that has to be figured out. As Jose Ramirez comes to the plate, he's back to taking number 12's bats. He's back to the Francisco Lindor's. Why? Well, there's not a lot of Danny Salazar bats made in America or anywhere else, and he broke it last night. Then he broke a Lindor bat. So Lindor's down a few bats, and he's back to the Frankie bat. I said, what are you going to use next week? He looked at me and he smiled and he says, I don't know. Depends how many hits I get tonight.
Whatever is working.
So I don't know if Danny can get some bats rushed, but we may have to go with the Frankie bats next week for Jose.
It's amazing. He doesn't use his own bats, everybody but his.
If you're a teammate and you order bats, well, give me another extra dozen. I'll keep those in the side for Ramirez when he comes looking for a bat.
Andre, did you use one of his when you hit Mustard tonight?
I can't tell you whose bat I used.
I know who it was.
It was a little faulty, I'd say, whoever it was.
Sometimes you got to use the equipment that's given to you for the situation.
WWE. I loved it. You got even, brother. I loved it.
3-0 pitch. Ball 4. And the tying run is aboard with 2 down here in the 8th. Something you never really want to do as an opposing pitcher, and that's walk somebody to get to Edwin Encarnacion.
Yeah, that's true. Not the way he's been swinging it. So Ramirez will cruise on to first base. Didn't even have to use that bat.
He's got the parrot. He wants to take him for a walk. Lob toss to first.
Edwin taking all the way right there, making Farquhar get in the strike zone.
And he swings over the top. It's 0-2. Swung on and missed. Farquhar strikes him out. And we'll go to the ninth. 2-1 Chicago.
Indians live coming up after the ball game. It'll be Al and Jensen on our Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care post-game show. They'll get you caught up with everything that's gone around baseball tonight and what's going on tomorrow. And hopefully the Indians have something left in this ball game to come back. Down 1 run. It's 2-1 going into the ninth. And coming out of the Indians bullpen is going to be Dan Otero. Danny's had a nice year for appearing for the 52nd time, 3-0 and a 290 earned run average. Not only is Otero coming in, he will be pitching. It'll be Allen out in center field as well. Coming in for Jason Kipnis. Greg Allen out there. Otero is going to face Davidson, Saladino, Liriano.
Just in off the plate, ball 1. Well, Arch, 33,173 the attendance tonight. It's the 13th sellout of the season. And the Indians have gone over 2 million in attendance for the first time in almost a decade. 2008 was the last time the Indians went over 2 million in attendance. 15th time in franchise history.
Very nice. Well, if you can't come and root for this team, you'll never be able to come to the ballpark.
That's a great point. Lindor on the run, throws out Davidson, 1 away. And that's something that Hawk Harrelson said in our conversation, that he said, look, you don't sell out 455 straight games if you don't have good fans. Because people always say, are there good fans in Cleveland, or whose fans are better, who has good baseball fans? That's a number that's going to stand a long time.
Sure will, and that's when it used to seat 43, 44,000.
Great point.
You're 10,000 seats lighter than you were back in the day when they were drawing them every day. But it was a different time. It was a different era. It was a brand new ballpark. The team was just starting to gel. It was the perfect storm coming in here. And that's totally understood. And they had some great players and some great teams and a dynasty going.
Line to short. Lindor snares it for out number 2.
But I'll tell you, I think they're in the same boat right now with this team, with the way they have the players signed, the excitement of this ball club. You're going to have a fun club to watch for a few years to come.
And I think the fans, and look, I know we have great fans. Not all of them come to the games. A lot of them can't get to the games. But the folks that came last October, man, they brought it. They weren't just sitting on their hands. And
they'll be ready to go again this year, too, I guarantee it, because there's some unfinished business that they want to see, and so does the team.
Lindor scoops it up, throws him out. 7 pitches. Dan Otero shuts him down quickly. Bottom of the 9th coming up. Tribe down a run. Game, the 10-pitch at bat that Michael Brantley had back in the 5th inning.
Yeah, that was a thing of beauty. He fell down behind in the count 0-2 and then proceeded to take some very good pitches for balls and then fouled off a lot of pitches, and the next thing you know, he gets the base hit that really set the inning up. That's the only run they've scored. Gomes got on. He was hit by a pitch. He sent him first to third. Frankie Lindor beat out a ground ball double play. That tied the game at 1, but they're trailing by 1 right now and need to score a couple if they want to win in walk-off fashion. I bet this crowd would like to see that.
Well, Jay Bruce, Carlos Santana, Abe Almonte, the scheduled hitters against Juan Minaya, who's 8 out of 9 in save situations. Seven consecutive scoreless appearances for Minaya.
Well, you always like to get that leadoff man on if you can, especially when you're only down 1. There's the rally caps. They're out.
Well, if you go back over his last 18 outings, he's given up 18 hits. So there are some opportunities there.
Yeah, he's got a live arm.
Starts him off with a slow breaking ball. And it's 2-0 as he misses with the heater. Swung at a 2-0 fastball.
Yeah, helped him out there. That ball had a lot of movement to it going away.
And a good fastball. Inside corner, 2-2. Shift on, 3 to the right side for Bruce. Avisail Garcia really deep in right field. Upstairs, full count. He cranked that one up to 95, but it was out of the zone.
He has a good arm. And you can see he does have that 2-seamer that runs away, and also the breaking ball.
Three-two. Swung out and missed. Elevated fastball, able to get it by him, 1 down.
You're going at the top of the zone, and I'll tell you, Bruce is a good high fastball hitter, so he gets that ball by him. You can see a lot of those pitches elevated in the top part of the zone. This is a guy that can hit a high fastball right here, Carlos Santana.
Takes a low fastball, and on the appeal they said he went around. All right, strike one. It did not look like he went. Let's take a look ourselves. Oh yeah,
yes he did.
I guess he did. Down in the dirt, 1 ball, 1 strike. Sweet chimes on the horizon. Let's hope so. The 1-1. Bounced in there. If you joined us late, missed it earlier, everything's set in the American League. The Indians have secured the #1 seed. They will play host to the winner between the Yankees and the Twins in the wild card game. That game will be Tuesday night. 2-1 pitch. Slow chopper foul. Astros will host the Red Sox in the other division series. National League is all set as well. Dodgers will host the winner of the Rockies Diamondbacks wild card game. Santana
Nice.
with a line drive, but playing shallow and able to make the catch.
I cannot believe
Is Reimer Liriano.
that they were playing him that shallow or able to catch that ball, because he never goes that way. You know, he always pulls the ball. I'm telling you, that surprised me. Look, he is shallow, but this ball for Santana, I'm surprised they had him played there. I really am. But they make a nice play and they get the second out.
Yeah, and it's a good play by Liriano. Even though he was playing shallow, he still had to charge in and make a nice sliding catch. So the Indians down to their final out with Abraham Almonte at the plate. He checks, went too far, strike one. Just a programming reminder, tomorrow 3 o'clock start time. Indians Live begins our coverage at 2:30, a little later than normal. All games now on Sundays on the final day of the regular season. Major League Baseball changed this a couple years ago when all games will start at the same time. So everything will start throughout Major League Baseball at 3 o'clock Eastern time. In off the plate. It was a great idea initially because it forced everybody to kind of play it honestly if there were things hanging in the balance on the final day of the regular season. But as fate would have it this year, everything's done. Everything's decided. The 2-1.
Well, the thing I liked is that, you know, the best record you're going to get World Series, you know, home field advantage, and it's going down to the last day. That's something you got to look at, which it means much more than whoever wins the All-Star game. You know, the Dodgers, they're tied with Colorado at 3-3, but the Indians would have to win out, and the Dodgers would have to lose tonight and tomorrow for them to take over. But
a strike called. Otherwise, Almonte was headed to first.
He goes down and in with that pitch right there. Could have been ball 4. He says strike 2.
And the payoff pitch. Bouncing ball to second. This should do it. And that's it. The White Sox win it by a final score of 2-1. Indians are 101-60 on the year. White Sox 67-94. So it all comes down to tomorrow, the final game of the regular season. Nothing left to decide, nothing left to determine. Just a day to show up and play ball one final time during the regular season before the Indians begin a postseason quest for a world championship next Thursday. Corey Kluber will finish the season at 18-4. And very likely the Cy Young Award winner. He didn't do anything to hurt his cause. I didn't think he could really hurt it or help it with what happened.
No, you're right. There's no doubt. No decision for Kluber. Just get him ready for next Thursday.
Well, thanks for tuning in, and we'll be here tomorrow for the regular season finale. Again, 3 o'clock Eastern time, first pitch. Indians Live starting our coverage at 2:30. Stay tuned now for Indians Live postgame. Al and Jensen are up next. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon.